This is a skylight. Yeah, this wouldn't have been here at least in '63.
It's a skylight?
Yeah, it's a skylight. I can show you pictures later of what it looks like inside. Yeah.
Someone's living there.
Yes.
I never knew her.
Yeah, Thea Gidlow. I've seen only pictures I've seen her. She appeared in stuff that was cut from Broughton's film The Bed. And she used to dress like a gypsy all the time.
And what's that to the right?
That's some little other buildings they have there. I don't, some other small buildings. Now this is the driveway to Elsa Gidlow's house up here.
And there's still a house there?
Oh yeah, that was the most substantial house here probably in some ways. It was built in 1943. Now it's harder to your left.
Oh,
I mean, we can go take a look at it if you want.
Yeah, I'd like to.
Okay, well let's go take a look at Elsa's house and see how that's...
You told me about Elsa the other day.
Yeah, see how that is. Okay.
You want to go up there?
Are you good?
No, I'm not good,
Okay.
but it's okay.
Okay, well,
Let's take it slow.
yeah, no hurries. Yeah, things are more and more overgrown here all the time.
And Roger built this.
No, this house was built, so this property was first developed by these people, the Hoppas, and they worked for both in domestic help. The man, Alphonse, a gardener, and Selma is like a cook for this family, the Whites family in Mill Valley. And they were very wealthy, and so they had full-time staff. And they bought this property here. They got it from someone else I think he had also been working for around 1920. And they built this house for their daughter to keep her living here in 1943, but she eventually did not want to stay.
Okay.
So it was a very solid house, and I've been contacted by the family, the descendants of these people, the Hoppas, and they sent some really great series of construction photos
Wow.
of this place. So it's a very solidly built home. It's very small. It's only 600-700 square feet.
And does anybody live in it? Or
No, not now.
So it's,
This structure over here,
but it does belong to
the Park Service.
Service.
This was built here probably in the 70s. And if you can kind of look through the glass, there's a whole crystal window on the other side.
I see it.
Yeah, so yeah. Good lighting for photography today.
What is
So this is called variously the Goddess Cabin, the Meditation Hut, various things. And so you see the crystal window through.
Oh,
If you
yeah.
walk around the back, you can see that. And then, yeah, so they've put tape around everything to keep people from going in, it looks like. Yeah.
Oh, everything's overgrown.
Oh, it's terrible.
Well, I mean,
Terrible.
Saving is a funny word,
Yeah.
but preserving is
Preserving.
a very different word. than
Right.
Saving.
Right.
And,
Saving is the more dramatic word. It implies like you got to throw in a life preserver or something like that on a rope.
It's a more difficult word
Yeah.
because, I understand the rationale for preserving.
Mm-hmm.
The one for saving is much less. It's a deceptive word, and who needs to save Elsa Gidley's Gidlow's house is a question. On the other hand, preserving it is a whole other structure and responsibility, and
Right.
there are reasons for it.
Right.
The,
Well,
the reasons are historic and mythic.
right.
So this is a mythic place,
Yeah.
and I understand your intentions. I'm not sure that the motivation has, a potentially effective structure because it's so difficult.
Yeah, it's definitely.
You know,
It's,
I mean, looking at this,
yeah. It's not as. I was inside there about a year and a half ago, so it's basically not bare. I mean, the roof is still intact. So
Looks
basically,
intact.
yeah, the roof is intact here. So
but I mean,
but soon something needs to be done.
Well,
it's going to be.
not only that, but if it needs to be done, the remoteness of this location and the overgrowth
Yeah.
around it kind of makes the effort a very specious possibility.
Oh, it'll be definitely. It's definitely tricky.
Because the National Park Service isn't going to provide adequate funding.
No, this would have to be funded. They do a lot of partnerships with other properties
Sure.
they have. So this basically, now, I mean, they need to make it their intention to find that they are quite happy and open to finding a partner,
Well,
and they haven't done that. That's the problem, really, right now.
Their intention has to do with a whole federal bureaucracy, and it's very unlikely unless they're prodded by people like you.
Right.
And
Right. Right.
and how much energy are you going to put into
Right.
it is the
And
question.
yeah.
You and the other people who are involved in
Right.
in
Right.
the
So,
entity,
Yeah.
because I have the same problem with our Usco Church in Garnerville, New
right.
York,
Right.
and it's a lot easier than this
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, but this is difficult.
Yeah, the other, the portions that are still inhabited here are a totally different story as well.
Sure. Must be.
Yeah, a little sunshine there. I mean, again, this house is in some ways, because she was as a member of the, lesbian community, she was such a pioneer in that. I mean, she for them especially, it really
funny.
stands out.
I never even knew her as that.
Yeah, like they have tours with her home in New York now, where she lived in New York City. And also there's a plaque been put up in Paris on her apartment there,
Wow.
where she lived there for a year. So, there's people who definitely... Can you get to the doorway down there? Or is it tape?
There's a tape, but you can come down if it's safe for Gerd.
Okay,
No, I don't need
I
to
think
put
it
that.
might not... Yeah, you guys take a look.
Yeah, I mean,
Is the door locked?
Elsa wasn't a close friend of mine.
No.
I just knew her.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this wasn't a commune here with everybody coming together and
wasn't.
eating in the same dining hall
No,
every
it
night.
certainly
Not at
wasn't.
all.
Not at
So,
all. But Roger was very hospitable, and he certainly had enormous coterie of friends, and we all liked each other.
Yep.
And he
I wouldn't walk on that deck. I would not walk on any deck here. I would not do that. I really wouldn't.
honey, be careful.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I was a contractor in Mill Valley for years, fixing houses, and these decks get so rotten. you know, and they can look okay, but I wouldn't walk on any deck here.
Ridiculous.
And I have pictures of it inside. We can, you know, if she wants to see inside, I have, you know.
She has no connection with this whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
She's
she's
just
just curious. Yeah.
No, she's a very curious
Yeah.
person
Yeah.
about all kinds of things.
Yeah.
No, I'm basically interested in seeing anything that was
Right.
totally connected with Roger.
Well, there's the house is up through the trees. We're gonna have to go down and around to get
Okay.
to it, I think, because
Okay.
it's just too overgrown otherwise.
Right.
But yeah, and then the building with the workshop and everything is beyond that, and that you really can't. That one is really a no-go in. It's just in terrible condition. You know, I wouldn't go into
Okay.
it. But we could look at it, you
Sure.
know, from the outside, and. So, yeah, and I guess I always hear, I guess there's still kind of remnants around. Elsa was quite a gardener, and she had quite a I've seen pictures of how it looked all landscaped and, you know, all kinds of beautiful plants that she had. And
Yeah, and it's California.
things grow. They don't freeze much. It's a very mild climate. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But it was funny, the first time I came here, it was November, and things were blooming like a plum tree because they get so confused by the fog and the overcast in the summer. And fall comes and the sun comes out, they think it's spring. Yeah, yeah. Right. Well, we're going to start forging on here. Yeah, I think this was built in the 70s, I think.
And not by Roger.
No, this guy,
What's the house up?
that's the one where the picture of Gerd's inside. That's up through there. But we're going to have to go around kind of. It's too overgrown through here and too hard to walk. And we go back to the road here now. And, so would you generally, when you were working on Contact, would you just drive out here every day or so and work on it? Or did you sometimes stay over? And
We were
know.
very flexible. It was always possible to stay over.
Mhm.
Things to do with the double aperture.
Barbara and I were very friendly,
Mhm.
as well as Roger.
Mhm.
I like their software algorithm.
It's funny.
It's a little more saturated.
She and my wife at the time were involved in a project for an exhibition that I had
Do you need a hand?
proposed.
You want a hand? There.
that-
There you
that
go.
I had proposed at the Sixth Gallery,
Uh-huh.
and it was for the exhibition of a dozen penises, live casts,
Uh-huh.
and chrome plated.
Wow.
Now, the only one that was made was mine,
Uh-huh.
and my wife at the time and Barbara were involved in making that one.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if Barbara
This was
remembers that.
This was Anne then, London?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Judith.
Yes,
Yes.
Judy.
Judy. Okay.
Yeah, and about 6 months ago. Oh, so when I brought the first one, which was in a glass mayonnaise jar on a microphone stand to the Sixth Gallery. He said, "What are you trying to do, Gerd, get me busted?" I said, "No, I told you exactly what they were going to be." I did a second one, which is not chrome plated, and I have it of Michael McClure, which Barbara helped with. And about 6 months ago, at a big exhibition in New York, it was bought
Oh, really?
for about $14,000.
Uh-huh.
I thought would ever be bought, it would be by somebody gay.
Mm-hmm.
Because it has words inscribed on it in color under the chrome.
Mm-hmm.
It's called "Hard On for Peace," and all the words are peace.
Mm-hmm.
But it was bought by a woman with her husband, art collectors, who she went for it immediately. She said, "I want that."
Mm-hmm.
And
When that was at the Sixth Gallery?
and that's where the guy wouldn't show it.
Oh, he really. So in the end, he still would not show it.
He wouldn't
He.
show it.
Yeah.
And over the years, it has never been shown until
Oh.
about a year ago.
Oh, wow.
And then it was bought.
Wow.
But we have pictures of it. Anyway. Yeah, the guy wouldn't show it. And I had been at, how that the Sixth Gallery was where Hell was first read by Ellen.
And you were there.
I was there, but I was there because Philip was reading that.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I went. And Rexroth was the MC.
Right. Well, Gerd,
Can you tell us what the tone was on that night?
What?
What the tone was it? Was it sort of a happening-like experience?
No.
A party? Or...
No, it was just a poetry reading.
Uh-huh.
But it was at an art gallery.
Mm-hmm. So I've been meaning to ask you, Gerd, when and how did you meet Roger Summers?
Huh.
Do you I suppose maybe on Varda's boat at one of his parties,
No.
or
No, someone brought me to his house.
right. So this is the Stiles home here, and this was originally a chicken barn built in around 1940, and
Is he here?
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't see many cars here. I don't know.
So this was built before Rogers.
Oh yeah. So this was part of that. Roger came in '54. So this was all built by the earlier folks here. So yeah. So
I'm not sure.
This was first when Roger was in here. They had a guy named Jerry Walter who
I know
was
Jerry.
he was with Ann Halprin later. He did some kind of sculpting for Ann Halprin, which I assume meant set design or something.
I think he had a concrete boat on the waterfront. I think that was Jerry.
Well, he came and lived up here. He lived in this building, and that's when it first started getting turned into a house. So now, look at that. Right, so this is where we're going to go now, to the left here. So that's Faye's house, and that's where the studio is buried in there, where Gerd built Contact.
Where?
It's inside this huge complex of buildings here, somewhere in there. And Roger kept adding on and adding on and adding on. And so when he, and unfortunately that part, the quality of the building was really not too good.
The shop was a great shop, though. It was big.
Yeah.
I mean, it had to be big to have...
Well, we'll take a look at, we cannot go into that thing at all. But, yeah, I guess we'll keep walking this way. There's a couple different ways to go. What is this truck over here? Yeah, everything is so overgrown. I know from the pictures that I've seen.
Where are we?
So the house is over through the trees here. The Zen sort of.
Okay.
Yeah, we're heading towards that. We're heading towards that.
That's where the picture.
Yeah, I don't understand what this vehicles are over here.
They look alive.
Yeah, the truck does. That other car has been here since the first time I ever came here. Been just sitting there. So I don't know what the story is with all that. There seems to be a hose.
What's your story?
Yeah.
Morning glory.
Yeah, so I think this might be Ed Stiles' old truck. I know he had an old pickup truck, but why it's down here is a mystery, if that's what it is.
Go ahead.
No, I'll just go like
That's all
this.
right.
We're gonna have to duck down. Okay. What is all this? Well, what are they doing here? This stuff would be like if they had a fire up here. I don't really, see there's water, there's
Yeah,
a pump.
right, yeah.
I don't quite get it. So
This is the house.
there's the house. Here we're coming up on the so-called Twin Peaks house.
This is where the picture
Yeah, it was taken.
of me and Barbara,
Right,
and this was Roger's actual living house,
right,
and this is where I took my first acid trip.
right. This is where the big party was, right? And the other place was where the workshop hadn't been. That later part of it got turned into a house. Roger kept building more dwelling spaces around here, and over time. The remnants of the garden here, all kinds of plants growing.
Wow.
Now we got a little step right here that's kind of hard to see. Right.
Honey, be careful.
She's taking pictures back there.
Judith.
Now watch your step right. There's a hidden stair right there. Now,
Wow.
okay. Now see, there's. Well, now, I think the next, I see an open door there. It says do not enter, but I tell you, Gerd, you're here. I think we are going to enter. I think what we're going to do first, David, if you two wait here, let David and I'm going to go reconnoiter, see what's up here.
Yeah, I recognize.
You know.
I recognize the doors.
Yeah. There is rat droppings everywhere. Everywhere. But otherwise it's okay. So let's go in.
Wow.
Jungle.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Wow. I recognize it.
Yeah.
Jesus. How weird.
And the scale of everything here, and the ceiling height, and it's it has to be seen to be
I can't remember.
comprehended.
There must have been a different entrance.
Yeah, we across the deck. That's the problem. Yeah, we can go either way here. Now, I've been told by a couple of people that there was one of Varda's, there was a big tapestry in one of these rooms of Varda's hanging for a long time.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
God.
remember this?
Oh, of course I remember it. How could you? Not, but, oh, I
You good?
don't know.
No. Okay.
No. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow. Look at it. Oh my God. Far fucking out. You know.
Well,
Really?
yes, there we are.
Oh. Judith?
It's a nice place.
Yeah, it's...
Stonework and
Now here's something, Roger's son, Tagore, told me, see this panel on the floor here? So Roger had a very bad back injury, and he would do these headstands with his head down. He'd pull this panel out, and he would do these headstands in here, this head down through the floor, so he didn't have to put the weight on his head. It was on his shoulders. We'll go back around instead of stepping down. We can go through the kitchen.
This is, you see, you would sit there and you put your feet down there,
Right.
and it was warm. He had heaters in there.
Right.
And this is where we took our first acid trip.
Wow.
Right up there.
And let's see, there's the control panel inside. There, with all these different switches and God knows what to control the lighting, I've been told in here. But, you know, I don't know about this whole thing about somehow the ceiling being coming up and down. But it,
Yeah,
it does look like it might.
yeah.
You know, it is kind of loose. It's suspended on something.
He liked everything moving.
Yeah. Oh, and there's a cable. Oh, look at this. And there's some kind of cable here also. I bet. Yeah. I don't want to fool with it,
No,
but
no.
it might come down on us. But it does look to me like, and the panels still slide.
Wow. Hey.
You know.
there's some paintings here. as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. The mural.
Mural.
Yeah, the mural in the hallway, and that's where the big Buddhist altar was. Oh, look, people still bring things here. This was not here. This little guy was not here in the past. Yeah, there's more controls and I don't know what all. Oh my goodness, electrical boxes
I
and
can't believe it.
yeah.
You know, it's so eminently recognizable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, wow. Phew.
Now.
Definitely a past life.
Yep. Yep.
Wow, I certainly never thought I'd be in this room again.
Back here again. Yeah. Well, that's great. You know. Well.
What's the building back here?
That's another little. I've never gone there again because of the situation with. I think you have to walk over a deck to get into it. There's all kinds of little cabins around here, though.
I'm gonna sit down and
Okay.
tie my
Your shoe. Okay. Okay. Yeah. There's.
Computer desk.
Yeah. There. You know. Well, this was inhabited till like I think 2005.
Oh yeah.
I don't quite know all how and. But yeah, this other cabin over here.
Who inhabited this house after Roger?
So, well, Roger, you know, he didn't actually, if I have it correctly, after Alan died in like 74 or late 73, Roger started living in the house that Alan had been living in, the one down the hill called the Mandala House. He stopped living in here and he rented this out, and various people lived in here through around like 2003, 2005.
Wow.
So, yeah. Oh, it's just, yeah. And, you know, behind us, I mean, we see the mural down there. That's a sliding door down there because I know that opens. We could go into the living room this way
Wow. Well,
to go back. There's not that much down there, but we should go into the living room. Let's see if I can get past you and open this up. Yes, some very narrow, small spaces here.
wow. That's wild.
Like I say, you never thought you'd be back again.
No, certainly not.
Yeah.
And it's so recognizable. It's just marvelous. I mean, it was there were soft things all over it.
Right. Right.
Wow, but the damn floor is how it was, you know?
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, Tagore Summers told me he remembered his dad throwing pebbles at those strings to get people's attention. You know, during a party or something. I want you to listen to what I have to say, or it's time to slow down and stop. And yeah, so
Well, yeah, that was quite a day. Wow.
yeah,
Yeah, I sure remember that window.
yeah, it's pretty unforgettable. Pretty unforgettable.
I mean,
Look how nice the ceiling is.
Yeah, it's very nice old lumber from really big old trees. You know, all the wood in these places. You know, it's there's kind of an irony to it that, you know, it was cutting down the beautiful forests that provided the beautiful lumber, and there was kind of a disconnect. You know, I remember when I was doing construction work, I built one final deck out of lumber like this, and I thought I can't do it anymore. I know but then I knew what sort of beautiful trees were being taken down. So
Wow, look at the floor here.
yeah.
very Roger.
Yep.
God damn. Yeah, I ate a lot of dinner out of this kitchen.
Yep.
Oh man. That's very odd that this house is here, but this is now I understand this house should be preserved.
Yeah, you know, and this is a house that all the stories, not only did Roger build it, but you know who his carpenter's helper was? Gary Snyder. You know, Gary supposedly came up here for a while and worked with Roger, and they would sit here.
And Gary's still alive.
Yeah, and they, according to one of the last people who lived here, she said Roger would say how he and Gary would be here working, and they had the phonograph playing here, because this was an old house that they altered over, you know. It was built in like 25, the original building.
Really?
Yeah, and by the original owners here, the Hoppas. And
How is that spelled?
HAAPA. They're from Finland.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, from Finland. Yeah, and yeah. Oh yeah, I've been inside in other places.
Honey, Judith,
Yeah.
look at this.
Yeah, it's easy to walk past that. Just the ceiling, and it has all
Yeah,
lights up in there.
Look at-
Yeah.
Look at
Yeah.
And this is kind of a
That's
Roger
amazing.
signature
That's
deal. I've
very
seen it in
Yeah.
houses that he
The floor,
remodeled.
too, it's just
Yeah, yeah,
these patterns.
yeah,
It's great.
yeah.
Look,
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
somebody must have left that because that's.
People still, you know, this.
I took a bath in that bathtub.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, this house really preserves preserving, but God knows if it ever will be.
Yeah, something's got to happen pretty soon.
Well,
You know, it's, so far as I can tell, it's not leaking much, but there's a lot of rot in the edge of the building.
Not only that, but it would take a great deal of effort to
Yep,
preserve it.
yep.
Wow.
So we'll see.
Gerd, I'd like to get one photo of you here,
Sure.
if I may,
Of course.
in front of the house.
Yeah. The tiki architecture.
Yeah.
You know, it's a
Yeah.
combination of a Japanese sort of interior,
Yeah.
but then this is all this Polynesian. It's all Tiburon Tommy's style, you know, tiki Polynesian architecture.
remember
Christmas lights.
Yeah, I remember it. Yep.
No, you remember that I got busted there.
Yes, I do. That's why I have to keep bringing it up. I read about it in some of the written material.
By
Oh.
Louis Montanus.
Yeah, the sheriff. Oh, I remember Montanus was sheriff when I was a kid. Still,
kidding.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember that name.
I helped get him elected,
Yeah,
so he really had to apologize to bust me.
you helped him with his publicity for. Yeah.
And the reporters from the local newspaper, who was the mistress of the guy I got busted with,
Yeah.
the architect who lived in Stinson. And everybody blamed me. I was the whole.
You got blamed for a couple things.
Oh yes, but that was earlier. That was all the people who smoked grass thought I had turned him in, which was not true. They had put a tape recorder, Louis Montanus and his people, under the table at Tiburon Tommy's.
Tiburon Tommy's.
When Les Smith and I were meeting there, and he gave me the grass, which I had paid him for previously. Wow. Hey, this was a great garden. Huh?
Yeah, there's still a lot of remnants of it here. You know, there's still a lot of plants that they seem to survive without any care at all.
I'll have to tell Barbara that I think you actually visited. She won't believe it.
You won't believe
probably.
it. Yeah. Let's see, if we walk that way, we won't have to duck so low.
Okay.
Here.
Duck for the oyster and
Yeah.
dive for the clam.
Yeah.
I'm right up in the promised land.
Michael, I can set up a Dropbox file with these photos.
Oh,
if you
okay,
want.
great. That'd be great. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, scene of many a gathering out here, I bet, out in this meadow.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Huh. It's interesting
God, this is new.
that there's people still.
What, the chairs?
Well, no, this pole, and this is all, I don't understand it quite.
Oh.
Yes.
And then they've got water coming from the truck. It's got a tank on it. Or, yeah. But I don't remember this.
Outdoor shower.
Well, it's a sprinkler. There's sprinklers there. Beyond me what that is for.
You feeling okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Well, do we want to walk by the studio, the workshop over?
well-
This is the quickest way to go that way.
I mean, if you think it's
We can look by
seeable-
the building, yeah.
Okay, because
Yeah.
but I
We can't really go in.
Yeah, well, I don't really have to go in. I remember
Yeah.
it very well.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of tools. I mean, he had
There were still tools that I could see when I looked in the windows there. Yeah, and like I say, Tagore says there's some model of the house. There's a couple of pictures on the wall in there that are they're inside plastic.
what is that?
A motorcycle.
Wow.
There are pictures in there. Roger designed a house, and this is what the model is of too. He designed a house for this guy who's the president of Elektra Records, and he lived in Hawaii, or he had a home in Hawaii. Elektra Asylum. That was like Neil Young was one of their.
Right.
You know, I don't know who else. Maybe the whole
can't
Crosby,
remember.
Stills, Nash and Young guys.
I don't remember the name. Of it.
Anyway, and so Roger designed this house, and it was called the Starfish House. And when you looked at the plans from above, it looked like a mythical fish, kind of. And it wasn't a starfish like what we think of, but it was kind of like somewhere between a starfish and a regular fish. And so there are these huge like drawings of it in the walls in here under plastic. They're cut out wood around them.
What is it?
We might be able to see. Yes, there's so many things that could be rescued here too.
Which building was this?
So this is part of the workshop building,
Yeah,
but he
really?
kept tacking onto it and tacking onto it.
Remember this part of it.
Yeah. It just the building is huge because it just kind of keeps
Michael, what's
going.
the size of the parcel?
Well, originally it was 5 acres, and then the Stiles family bought 1 more acre, and beyond up here is Ed Stiles' workshop, which is a really beautiful, woodworking shop, really just straight. And that was the last thing built here. So this building here, what we see, this was an original garage that was built in the 1920s, and there was another shed building over here, and Roger took these 2 buildings. The shed building, I think, is what the workshop was in that you used, and then he kept adding on to it.
But what was that?
Well, this was like a 2-car garage, and I think you came from the other side. Yeah, and he used it as a music room, though. This is where they did a lot of music in here. And there's another piano embedded in the walls.
Somebody drove up while we were here.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they drove over here.
Yeah, well, this second house over there, cabin, is attached to, is part of the Stiles portion of the property, and so they have, I think, a couple lives in that all the time. I'm gonna guess that. I mean, it could be Ed and Marilyn Stiles too. I don't know who's here really. Hard to know. Anyway, do you mind waiting here for? I don't know if you want to go. Do you want to go? No. Okay, David. If you want to, no. If you want to take a look at these pictures, they're in here. Well, they might be of this house,
Designs.
right? And there's also the Goat Man picture is on the wall.
But I'll take pictures for you, okay?
Yeah.
Do you want to take a seat for a minute?
Yeah. There's a. You could sit here, Gerd. Okay.
We won't be long.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Right. So.
There's an old typewriter in here.
Yeah, it's just terrible in here. I mean, this is really pretty dangerous going in here,
File
actually.
cabinets.
It's really, there's the drawing. It's underneath this.
Oh, look at this one here.
Can you see it? That's the drawing
Oh my
of the
God.
Starfish House.
Oh, man.
And there's a picture of,
It makes me just sick to
see
just,
this?
Yes. Oh, wow. Is that, I don't know who that is.
These drawings out.
I know. I told the Park Service.
Will they allow
And
that?
see up there?
Yeah.
I know.
So who did these?
Oh, with this.
They're
The
just
drawings?
Roger.
Oh, Roger did.
Roger
himself.
did them. They're the design of this gigantic house. And like I say, there's a model here supposedly of the house too.
What is wrong with this thing? I can't get it.
Well, let's see. David can get. Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Gerd might know.
Yeah. Well, I was almost like, is it James Broughton?
These are in better shape than I would have expected, actually.
No, I don't know. Maybe they're on plastic. They might not be on paper. You know, I don't know
It's just stuck again.
what it's on.
Oh, yeah.
Is it plastic?
They're not even covered. No, this is just what they are right
Oh
here.
God.
They need to be removed.
Just makes me ill. Isn't that an amazing drawing? This is like a museum piece.
Yeah, we got to get this out of here.
Yeah.
How do we do that?
I don't know. I really don't.
It's totally stuck.
Probably like if Tagore, his son, came.
He could recover it, probably. Huh?
Yeah, call it his dad's
Personal property.
Yeah.
That would be the way to go, probably.
Yeah.
We need this, yeah.
But we need to cut that out of there. Somebody needs to be knowledgeable
Well,
on.
I think these wood pieces will have to be removed. Michael.
Yeah, and it's the whole building is tenuous. I mean, it's collapsing. We shouldn't really be in here.
I think we could get that off with a screwdriver pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still not. You know who that is on the
No, but I just got a good shot of it. I wondered if it was James Broughton.
Gerd might.
Yeah, he might know.
Some files left in there.
Yeah. But anyway, this other. When we get back, we can. Makes me very upset to go in there. There's this amazing drawing that Roger did on there. It's huge on the wall.
Really?
The drawing of the rendering of this house, and it's like 6 foot high.
There's wood cut out
Yeah.
on top of it, but you can see some of the detail maybe.
Yes.
It's an
Wow.
amazing thing.
There's a
And
little
it's
more
just,
detail.
Yes.
It's just sitting there. It's amazing. It's still intact.
Does look like a starfish.
Yeah, it's like the starfish house that was never built,
Yeah.
except for those drawings and the supposed model that's in here somewhere. A model. Tagore's, if it's still there, he says it was there last time. He says I was there quite a few years ago, but nobody took it. But
Yeah.
you might not be able to get into it anymore. It may be so dangerous to get into where it is. I didn't quite understand.
I can't remember who the guy was at Electra Records.
I have it all,
I'm
but and then
The building might still be the property of the family, though.
no, the federal government has all this now.
Even the structures.
Yeah, yeah. So let's see again, Gerd, if you want to wait here, I wanted to. Or no, is this the way? Maybe we need to go. I can't remember how to get to where I'm trying to go now. I guess we have to go through the bushes here. Okay, there's this. Over here. Oh, wow. The overgrowth is just. I mean, this is really. I could get through here easily before. There's all kinds of stuff inside there. Yeah, so there's this painting over here too. Kind of over this way. It's always kind of a iconic thing. Not that it's a great work of art, but it fits the whole whole thing here.
There's also a painting, a total wreck on the floor when we went in there by an A pull-up or something was the name.
There's all kinds of stuff in here. I wrote them and said, why can't you get like a couple of those big shipping containers and bring them out here and then have people go through and pull stuff out and just store it in those.
Yep.
Last time I was here, there was a fox running around inside.
Ooh.
Yeah. So they're hunting for the rats. But so there's this. This guy outside the door.
Fun.
Yep. And then down below is another one of the music rooms. I really wouldn't go far in there, Judith. I really wouldn't do that. It's just, you just don't know. I have to do a little editing of my video today. I'm not going to put all
It's a
this
little
on.
free form, you know.
Well, no, it's more there's things I don't want. I don't want to, I'm not sure how much of this is going to be useful for anything. It's a little
Someday.
too suggestive. Yes. Oh, it's archival.
Yeah.
Yes. It's not to punch online.
Full of old punch-in.
Yeah, well, the workshop is somewhere down through there, but again, it's just getting into it. It might, I don't even know how to do it, and the whole building is just not good. It's not good. So,
Canvas?
yeah, and do not walk onto that deck there.
Yeah, I
That
see.
do not.
Yes, I see.
Absolutely.
I think that's a Jesus image. Or...
I don't know. I thought it was more of a, you know, people often called Roger Pan, you know, he's a Pan-like character, you know, like the goat. So I'm guessing that it relates to that.
So wait, whose house was this?
Well, it's called by the government Faye's house. Faye was Roger's last wife, I think, but I think they kind of had an on again, off again relationship. The Roger's workshop was in part of this building. There's a whole nother story down below with this huge music room, and I've heard stories about that place, you know, and all the musicians between that music room and the other one that we were just in with the starfish.
Yeah.
And then Roger's son Tagore, though, was living in that starfish room. So people were living in here. I mean, different people. Up till, I don't know, maybe as late as around when Roger died, 2001 or two, something like that. So, anyway, yeah. So. Yep. A jungle down there.
Well, it doesn't.
This one is totally gone, you know.
It's the house that is attractive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the house is attractive. Elsa Gidlow's house is historic. Alan Watts's library, which we haven't seen yet, it's a very cool building. It's a very cool building, architecturally. You know, and the Allen's whole thing.
Well, yeah. It's,
You know, well,
it's a separate myth.
yeah. Well,
It has very little to do with my memory of
yeah.
Roger.
Oh, that was all. Yeah, it was a whole different. That was really tied to Elsa and Alan.
Yes.
I mean, they called each other like brother and sister.
I know. Yeah.
So, anyway, I think we've seen it.
Yeah.
You know, we're not really supposed to go up here.
Okay, that's
Another
fine.
So-
structure up
Which
there.
way?
Yeah, we'll head back down the road.
Okay.
So,
Good to have your guidance.
yeah, no, it's definitely very, yeah.
Well, to me, seeing Roger's house just really took me back into a very poignant period.
Yeah.
And it really is real. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and the recollection is absolutely straight.
Mm-hmm.
I think the last time was in those 70s. Gerd, when was the first time you were here?
First time?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I don't know, in the early 60s.
Early 60s.
That was
Maybe.
around when you met Roger, huh?
Maybe even the late
Right.
50s, I'm not sure.
Right. Well, you had said the other day that you were at that going away party for Gary Snyder
Yes, I
down there,
was.
and we think Roger may have been at that party also. You know, his son thinks he might have been because it was around then when Roger and Gary met, and they were working up here.
It was the Lexi Gallery guy,
Uh huh.
Jim Newman.
Jim Newman,
Uh-huh.
and he's still alive. I wish I could contact him.
I know a woman that's working with them. I could get his
Yes,
contact for
that's
you.
right. That woman,
Tell
Who?
us about him.
that woman that is Steece's daughter. who lived on the barge next to me when it was up nearer Marin City, not when it was next to the Vallejo.
Mm-hmm.
I can get that to you if you'd like.
Okay.
He's pretty guarded.
Well, I mean,
I will get his info.
he was very important in my life. He had a gallery, and I was I had a 7-foot picture of Contact is the Only Love, and Hal Babbitt of Kaiser Foundation was giving me money, and somehow I was introduced to Jim, and Jim said to me, the person that you need to see is George Culler, who's the director of the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art. And I'll give you his number, and you call him. So I called him, and George Culler invited me to come up. And we talked for a long time, and he was very excited about the project. I wrote the 7-foot sketch. It was more than a sketch. It was a collage of the actual piece, and he said, I would like to show it. And I told him about all the pieces I had at the Allen Stone Gallery in New York. He said, I'll send for them, and you can have a show. And you can have 2 nights in the museum's auditorium. You can read poetry. I said,
It should be so easy now.
I said to him, so what, 6 or a dozen people will come to hear me read poetry in this big auditorium? I'll do something else. And we did our first multimedia called Who Are You and What's Happening? And 2 big nights, and full auditorium, and on acid. And Roger was there.
Okay.
Because that's where we first showed Contact.
Oh, that was the first time.
Oh, yeah. And
So Jim's a key part of that
yes,
story.
He's the one who introduced me. And George Culler and Peggy, his wife, and I were friends for the rest of their lives. After he was here in San Francisco, he became head of the Philadelphia College of Art. And they lived there. One of those very old houses, what was his name, the architect who redid Philadelphia's classic architecture? I can't remember, but
So good that he has such a
hey. And George was very important to my career as an artist because he made it possible.
He was very supportive.
And very unlike a museum director. I mean, to get Bill Seitz and Bill is still alive, and he's out here somewhere. But he was at MoMA, but you couldn't get to see him.
Right.
But when he was at Berkeley, he was easy to get to see. But that was much later.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gather he's in his 90s. I haven't been in touch with him. Anyway, Jim Newman. So Jim must be in his late 80s. Wow, that's a hell of an experience.
Well,
Really unbelievable.
great. This is the first time I've come here with anybody who was here as early on as you were. Or that I've talked to anybody. Really, I've talked to very few people who are here,
So
and
you
and
so
really,
you're not friendly with Gary.
You know, I've tried to contact Gary, and I haven't had any luck
Yeah,
so
he's
far.
he's a little difficult. Right?
You know, well, he's a very busy guy still.
No, I don't think that's it. I think he's not that well.
He's out on the road.
Yeah. Oh, is he
still doing some lectures and stuff
Really?
within the last few months.
No kidding.
And I saw a picture of him eating a large chocolate cake on his birthday the other day.
Okay.
And somebody put it on Facebook.
Well, I'm surprised you haven't been able to be in touch with him.
Yeah, well, I'm going to
because-
try a different way. I'm
because-
actually going to be staying near him this summer, so in a few weeks.
Well,
So I'll see
tell
what
him
I can
hello
do.
For me. He remembers me well.
Yeah.
I saw him in New York, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago when he read, and we spoke afterwards.
Uh-huh. Yeah, he had, when he was living here, there was another guy, Robert Erickson, a young guy.
I knew Robert very well.
Okay.
Robert was the music director at KPFA.
No, this is a different one.
Oh, different
This is a woodworker guy. He became
Oh,
a very
okay.
famous furniture maker.
Yeah.
And he helped Gary build his house up in the mountains, and he lives next door to him still.
I see, okay.
And so,
Yeah, very different Robert Erickson.
yeah, very different. So there's Alan's library through the trees here on the left.
Wow.
Yeah. So, sadly, very overgrown. I don't think we can't get down there.
No.
But,
I knew Helen well. That's funny. I never knew that was not his wife from England.
yeah, no, it's, I'm trying to remember that, you know, yeah, his first wife, I think, was, you know, was through the connection, was through his early Buddhist studies, and his first wife's mother was very involved with Buddhism, and so they had that connection over in England. His first wife's mother was Ruth Sasaki. And Ruth Sasaki, and so
then he ran off with the
then
person that he
right in where he was working at the college. So I think we can get to the car around the backside here. We can get around.
That's a real story, isn't it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
That he ran off with his.
Yeah, there's something how an affair developed while he was back there, and the first marriage split up. And
he brought that woman to the United States, supposedly.
well, he brought definitely came with his first wife.
Really?
Yeah, so yeah, they came and their kids, you know, and everything. But the marriage didn't
I'm
last.
gonna take a quick look at the
Oh, okay.
Watts
Okay. Yeah.
lot structure right here. I'll be
Okay.
right
Yeah.
back.
Cause.
Yeah.
All right.
That's fine.
They're gonna. Okay. You good? Okay. I'm gonna go back with them and either see what they see or keep them out of trouble. Okay. Do you want the door closed or? Okay. Okay. Yeah. No. This is it. That's it. There's nothing from below.
It's not accessible really.
No.
It's totally round.
Yes, it's totally round. It's rather. It's ironic that they've put that tape around this because this is probably one of the most solid buildings here. I'm sure it's locked though. Yeah, it's all locked up.
But some stonework and prayer flags.
Yeah, people were coming. When I first came here, it was actually the anniversary of Watts's death that day, and people were doing a ritual here.
Oh, cool.
It was like the 16th of November.
It's 1973.
Yeah, 73, and so it was the 643rd. And there was a stupa. Oh, this deck. Yeah, don't walk over there. We can walk around the edge here. There was a marker. No, it's still here. Oh, this guy told me it was gone. That's half of Alan's ashes are underneath this wooden thing that you see standing there.
Those rocks.
No, inside the rocks. That's
Under the
yeah.
rock. Oh, there is
Yeah.
a little, like a linga
Yeah.
Lingham.
Yeah. Yeah. So that
Same
was
there.
that was made by Ed Stiles here.
Okay. He's a good woodworker.
Oh
I've
yeah,
seen some of his
Ed's
stuff.
an excellent woodworker.
Michael, I'm gonna sneak in there.
Yeah,
Can
yeah.
you take a shot of that?
Yeah,
Just
definitely.
with my phone.
I was told it was gone, and I was informed his family even. I said, you know, somebody has told me your grandfather. I went to high school with two of his granddaughters.
Judith, there is some poison oak in here. I don't. You know,
No, we haven't come. As long as you don't go back in there.
right there, that's poison oak.
Yes. Oh
I don't know
yeah.
if you're familiar with that, but
I'm
Yeah.
also wondering about ticks.
Oh, ticks. Yeah, we should all check when we get home.
yeah,
Need to do the
Phobic.
check over.
I am so phobic about
Yeah.
ticks.
we should be
Yeah.
aware.
Yeah. So
Okay, I got that.
yeah.
There's poison oak right here.
Oh
too.
yeah. So anyway,
Take
is
a quick look at them.
yeah, you'll see one of the early hot tubs is down there. The hot tub was supposedly invented here on the property. I mean almost certainly. So, well, if everybody's going.
Oh my goodness. Oops.
Oh, it's just really gotten a lot worse. Just in a year and a half, it's gotten a lot worse.
This is collapsed. Michael,
Yep.
Did you notice this here?
Yeah, that luckily for this building, so this was all an addition. So the inner core of the building is much like the deck is gone. This addition is in very bad shape. But once you get past that, it's actually pretty good still.
Was Alan living in here?
No, he lived in that mandala house down the hill
Oh, that's right.
that's still occupied.
So this was used just.
This was as a library and a study, and he would hold forth in here.
Ah,
You know, here's a black robe. He used to wear those.
oh yeah.
Yeah, who knows where things have appeared here, obviously, much later. Yeah, and I don't know when that may have appeared after Alan died. I've never seen any reference to it because it continued to be used. Roger built this kitchen and bathroom, which is in this addition here. Very narrow kitchen and bath, and I've got a bunch of pictures online of that, and I'm sure glad I took all those. So he added that on, and then it got used as a rental. The most famous tenant was the famous legal scholar Catherine McKinnon.
Really?
Yes, Catherine McKinnon lived here for a while until there was some kind of very big falling. And so Elsa Gidlow controlled this part. And that was when Catherine was here. And watch out for those boards. They could have nails in them. In fact, I see nails sticking out. So I would really stay away from that lumber. Yeah. Yeah.
This isn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't step on the wood, Judith. They're nails sticking out of some of these boards.
I'm
Be
okay with
be very careful.
This isn't in great shape here.
Yeah. Well, again, the inner core is, because it's a redwood water tank, basically. So that's more like what you see around the front door. That's the core condition, and it had a 3-foot wide overhang. And so it's really unfortunate that this got added onto it because it caused a lot of, degradation of the integrity of part of the building. Because otherwise you'd have a building with a 3-foot overhang. You have a building with a 3-foot overhang, not much happens to that,
Redwood.
And redwood, yeah, I mean the deck might got rotten around the edge, and that's probably because of ground contact and water splatter. But the inner core,
Pretty good.
as long as the roof is good, and even if the roof goes on an all redwood building, it doesn't really degrade very quickly. And old growth redwood too, not the current crappy stuff they sell.
Tight side.
Oh yeah, with a
structure.
tight, where you get I remember like one 2x6, you'd have 100 years worth of growth rings in 6 inches. So, yeah.
Wonder where Alan passed. So he was.
He
probably
passed right in the Mandala house here. Yes, in the Mandala house.
Yeah.
And his last partner, Jano, called Elsa Gidlow like early in the morning. Alan's not responsive. You know, and Elsa came down and she's, you know, in her autobiography, she says, Jano was really upset and I couldn't tell her, yeah, he's dead. He's not just, and she said, well, we'll call his doctor. And the doctor came out, you know, and certified him, you know, cardiac arrest. But, you know, he was a terrible drinker. I mean, there's the commentary that Ed Stiles likes to say, and he did, and there's this documentary, you know, that's online, 20-minute documentary about this place. And, you know, he says, I was walking on the road up here one day, and I passed Roger Summers. And it was, you know, it's like 5 days before Alan died. And you know, I looked at Roger and I said, how can a man drink a fifth of vodka a day and live? And, you know, 5 days later, we passed each other again, and all Roger could say, just said to me, you can't. And that was just it. You know, these two, like, you know, laconic exchanges between them about that. But, you know, Alan had gone through rehab, and it just never stuck. Never stuck. He did, you know, he tried, I think when he first took LSD was as a alcoholism cure. It was in a clinical trial setting.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it was in, all right, not maybe but it was in a medical trial setting. I think in the late 50s. I was just reading that the other day. Oh.